This is the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.
What a time it is to be a DFW sports fan, a defending champion Rangers team, a Stars team that should be up 3-0 on the Avs. The Mavs have a 2-1 series lead and are getting better. Not a bad time to start up a Dallas sports talk show, and here we are. Welcome into the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. Mike Leslie, Jonah Javad, our esteemed panel coming along shortly. Jonah, we may be busy into June the way things are going right now.
I was just thinking how great it is that series don't end after game one, because if that was the case, the Stars and Mavs would be in rough shape in the last 5 years. But thankfully, they go at least 4 games.
At least 4, and both these teams have been really good about bouncing back, not just in these playoffs, but over the course of the last several years. That's been one of the strengths of these two teams.
It will come as no surprise that the Mavs and Stars will highlight a lot of what we'll talk about, so let's get to it. What's in the show?
Here's What's on the Show, sponsored by NFM.
All right, so the Thunder may be the top seed in the West, but the Mavs have now seized control of that second-round playoff series. Same boat for the Stars, also up 2-1 in their playoff series against the Avalanche after that enormous dub last night in Denver. We'll dive into where those two series stand. And, of course, what's fun without games? Our weekly gaming segment is on the way. But that's what's on the show. Mike, who is on the show?
To return guests on our Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, Mac Engel of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram and Sean Bass of 1310 The Ticket. Gentlemen, thank you for being here as always. Let's jump in with the Dallas Mavericks and this 2-1 series lead that they hold, a 105-101 win yesterday on home court in Game 3 to take the lead in this series. P.J. Washington leading the charge. He's line one as to why this team is leading this series right now. Mac Engel, is P.J. Washington good enough to be the third option on a championship team? Have we crossed the plateau into that realm?
No. I don't think he is, because I don't think he can create his own shot. He's a really good player, and clearly that trade has pushed this team to a place that hasn't been. In my mind, this is the best Mavericks team since the 2011 NBA championship team. But I don't know if he's consistent enough to be a reliable third scorer the way you need. He's really good, and I think he's good enough to get them there. I still don't think they're quite deep enough, even with him doing what he did in Game 3, to count on him to be able to do that time and time again, and that's what you need.
So that's interesting. Sean Bass, do you put this team ahead of the 2022 team that went to the West Final like Mac just did? Do you think this team is better than that Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson squad?
I think they're more balanced. I think they play better overall perimeter defense, and P.J. Washington is a big part of that. But to echo Mac's point, he's a good scorer on a given night, but you can't expect him night in, night out to hit from the perimeter. We've seen that since he's been a Maverick since the trade. And as far as the depth goes, it's great to have Gafford. It's great to have Lively. But there might be a night or two, say if they get past this series with Oklahoma City in the Western Finals, or heck, even if they make it to the finals, you need a consistent third scorer. So that leaves me a little bit of doubt whether P.J. Washington is that guy. That's not to say he can't show up on a given night, but if Luka and Kyrie aren't scoring, somebody else better have a massive night, and I just don't know if I can depend on P.J. to be that dude.
Jonah, how about for you?
You know, I was thinking the other day that who cares if you have a third option when you have Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving? And this is a total hedge on your question, Mike. But I think P.J. Washington can be that guy because Luka and Kyrie are so A1 in their roles in being able to create for other guys that it doesn't really matter. I think you don't necessarily need that third creator, that third scorer, and that you'll get the compilation of contributions from guys like Lively and Gafford and Washington, and even Tim Hardaway Jr. is coming alive at the right time. So I think they're able to piecemeal it where they can, and I don't think it really matters.
So that's what's interesting to me, is because basically in yesterday's Game 3, we saw that disaster scenario present itself for the Mavs, and the fact that both Luka and Kyrie for a lot of that game weren't at optimum level. And P.J. Washington did, at least in that particular circumstance, insert himself and produce for Dallas and lead them with 27 points. Jonah, to your point, that may be the only time in these playoffs where they need him to do that, where both these guys are not on the same night, where they both only have 22 points. The fact that they've been able to win, Sean Bass, I'll come to you next year, the fact that they've been able to win with Luka Doncic not being in dominant takeover mode in a lot of these games. I think Game 5 of the LA series, Game 2 of this Oklahoma City series, I feel like Luka's been really good. Other than that, in the playoffs, he's been good to sometimes not very good, and yet here they are still in the second round with a 2-1 series lead.
Well, we're talking about a guy who's got a sprained knee. He's been dealing with that for a few weeks now. It feels like he dings up his ankle. He catches himself on the floor with his teeth earlier in this series. I mean, this guy is banged up, and the fact that he's willing himself to play at the level he's playing against the 1 seed in the Western Conference, I think that he deserves a lot of credit. Kyrie is a vet that, other than Game 1 where he was turning the ball over in the first quarter, I think he's pretty reliable. But I don't think we should just underscore just how banged up Luka is. Luka would not be playing if this was a regular season. And the fact is you're playing a game every other night in this series until, I believe, this coming Saturday when they're going to get a couple days off if the series goes that far. Luka has been fantastic. And it's not just, obviously you would want to see him hitting threes, but the fact that he can get to where he wants on the court against Lou Dort, and the mid-range game is obviously a scoring opportunity for him. It's also his ability to pass the ball out of the post, which I think is a big factor in this series against an inexperienced OKC team.
So, fellas, let's wrap it up with this because we only got about a minute and a half left. We're still just 3 games into the second round, but optimism is high right now for Mavs fans. How high are you on the potential of this Mavs team, the way that they are starting to getting things rolling? Mac, you jump in here first.
I thought it was a West Finals team potentially since before the playoffs, and nothing I've seen so far that's changed my mind. Everything that Sean said, I agree about Luka Doncic. I agree with it. But the thing about Luka is, even if, let's say, he's 75 or 80%, that's still better than most basketball players in the world. And if you look at what he did yesterday, that's still a great line. 21 points, 22 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists. The problem is those aren't his normal averages. So if that's what he's able to do and they can do this, then I think they can get to the West Finals. And after that, I think anything is gravy.
Yeah, and I think if you look around the West, Mike, Nikola Jokic for the Nuggets, when he doesn't play well, Denver loses. When Luka doesn't play well or Kyrie, the Mavs still win. Yeah. That is success that can still take them all the way as far as they want to go. I think they can be a finals team if they keep that up. All right, still lots more to get to. The Dallas Stars next on the docket on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show.
Here's today's headlines, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers.
The Mavs and Stars both lead their playoff series 2-1, heading into Game 4s on Monday night. Mavs and Thunder from Dallas at 8:30. Stars and Avs from Denver, also at 8:30.
Back on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, time to talk a little bit about the Dallas Stars and their 2-1 series lead over the Colorado Avalanche. They have been, frankly, dominant in this series, leading for 115 minutes and 59 seconds in this series. The Avalanche have led for 0 minutes and 0 seconds, and yet they do have that one overtime win in this series. It's been a really impressive showing so far from the Dallas Stars, Jonah. This team looks like the team we thought they were going to be coming into the postseason.
It's just crazy against that opponent, the highest scoring team in hockey, the Colorado Avalanche, Stanley Cup champs of 2 years ago. And try this on for size. The Avs scored 28 goals in their first round series. In just 5 games, the Avs scored 28 goals. Do you know that the Stars in Vegas combined for 32 in 7 games? You can think about how different.
Very different series.
Completely different series, but credit to the Stars who have been able to change how they play against a new opponent, and it's shown up.
Mac Engel, I'll come to you first here. 11-3, they outscored their first-round opponent on their home ice, the Avs did. Best home team in hockey this year. Stars, the best road team in hockey, and they went in and got the better of that coin flip in Game 3. What's impressed you most about what they've done in this series?
I think just the fact that it's so much different than the Vegas series. The Vegas series was tight checking, not a lot of room, very physical. A lot of stick work, really done well by the Stars to get through that series. whereas this is far more open ice, a lot more skating, a lot more skill. And I think if you were to rank teams by skill, just by skill, Colorado would be a top 3 team just in terms of skill. And other than, really a horrific 23 minutes or so in game 1, I'm talking all of the second period and early in the third period of game 1, Dallas has outskated Colorado. And I think that's probably the thing that's caught my eye the most, is that coming into this, it was like, this is Colorado's series because they can use their speed. And Dallas has matched it and outplayed them.
Sean, is the way that the Stars are playing right now, what's the ceiling for this team? Can anybody beat this team? I mean, you see Florida on the other side in the Eastern Conference. I mean, they obviously look quite good. But are we forecasting that far ahead with this team now, with the way that they're playing? Is it too early to jump there?
You could jump there if you want. I don't think that's a smart thing to do because the other side has the top offensive defenseman in the world in Cale Makar and Nate McKinnon, who might be the most talented player, not to mention Rantanen and Val Nichushkin can now score. They have a ton of talent. And like Max said, it's more of an open ice series than it was against Vegas. The beautiful thing about the last few games is Dallas is running with them. And defensively, Jake Ottinger's been great. And if the Stars just stay out of the penalty box, I feel like they are the superior team and the deeper team than Colorado. Really, if you go back to Game 3, maybe the most impressive aspect of that was Colorado outshot them 12-5 in the first period. But they went 0-for-3 on the power play, and Dallas was able to put one in, and that really deflated Colorado. You could see it. When you can do that in somebody else's barn and then play lockdown defense in the third period, basically a 20-minute penalty kill, just textbook. It's easy to dream on this team being a Cup champion, but with the Stanley Cup playoffs, you cannot count chickens before they hatch at all because we've seen weird things happen. Your
mention of defense is the perfect transition here because Chris Tanev has been such a good addition for this Dallas Stars team and has rounded out that blue line for them. And we've seen for both these teams in these playoffs, P.J. Washington for the Mavs, Chris Tanev for the Stars, trade deadline acquisitions lift these two teams to be they were good already, but certainly lifted them maybe to the point where, hey, now I think for the Stars, I think Tanev makes them now, is that the missing piece to be a championship contender? In your mind, who's the better trade deadline acquisition? Mac, I'll come to you first on this one.
P.J. Washington, and in my mind, it's not really close. I mean, Dallas has been, the Stars rather, they've been around it for the last 5 or 6 years. And, when they didn't win, it was, they weren't quite fast enough. And when they didn't win last year, they weren't quite big enough. And Pete DeBoer, the head coach of the Stars, said it best. He knew last season Vegas was better. And Chris Tanev gives them something. He gives them more than maybe what they really hadn't had. It gives them a little depth. Well, P.J. Washington gives the Mavericks something that they hadn't really had. And they're not where they are today without him. And the wild card with that is Nico Harrison of the Mavericks made a trade for a guy based on what he could be. But not on something that he had been before. And that's why this has worked so well. With PJ, it was one of those guys, just another one of those guys, you're like, well, man, he should be this, he should be this, he should be this. Well, he hadn't been. And now you give him a little bit of space, you give him a little bit of breathing room, and look what he can become.
John, how about for you?
Far more confident player. Go ahead, sorry.
P.J. Washington was more needed for the Mavs roster. Chris Tanev was a nice add, but the way Thomas Harley has really stepped up into a frontline defenseman, if you could just pair him with Miro, you would have been fine. Now, as far as facing a team like Colorado, Chris Tanev blocking shots is huge, but on the other side, P.J. Washington playing lockdown perimeter defense was big in round one. It's big in this series and maybe beyond. I think it's kind of a push, to be honest with you, and I guess the deciding factor is who goes further in their respective playoffs.
I'm on Tanev with this one. All due respect to P.J. Washington, I think he's been fantastic, and hey, these 2 games have been great. Tanev, to me, is that missing piece that takes the Stars from, hey, in it, around it, like you're saying, Mac, for years now, to this team can win a Stanley Cup, and he's to round out that blue line makes them that much better.
I'm proud of you for not being a prisoner of the moment here and taking P.J. Washington like Mac Engel, our esteemed colleague here. Okay, we've got to get to a short break. Timeout number 2. Name That Athlete, our gaming segment. That is up next.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. You want to play a game? It's time for the gaming segment.
And now it's time for Name This Athlete, sponsored by the Fort Worth Convention and Visitors Bureau.
All right, in honor of the Stars and the Mavs both making the second round of the playoffs for the first time since 2003, today's gaming segment has to do with the 2003 rosters of the Mavs and Stars. I have no idea how to explain this segment, but I'm going to try. Name that athlete. It's a little bit like Final Jeopardy. I am going to read a clue. The fellas have dry erase boards. If they feel like they can name it after just one clue, they'll say, hey, Jonah, I've got the answer. I'll see if anybody else wants to jump in. They'll write the answer down. If they get it right, it's 5 points. If they don't, then they're out of it, and it's up to the other guys to figure it out. If other guys think they can name it at the same time, they can all write it down on the board at the same time.
And the hints get bigger as we go along.
I think we've got it figured out. And if you don't,
let's roll.
We'll figure it out as we go. All right, player number one, clue number one. He played 48 games for the Mavs in 2003, but didn't make the postseason roster. Bueller.
Yeah, I'm out off that clue. Let's go clue
All right,
two.
Clue two. He holds 6 NCAA records, but went undrafted.
I'm not there yet.
And all right, clue three. Since retirement, he has spent some time as an ESPN studio host.
Studio?
Or analyst. Studio host.
I'm not there yet.
Still nothing. All right, we're going to...
Is this all the same guy?
Same dude.
This is all the same guy.
All right, fourth. He coached his son in college. Are we going to the fifth and final clue?
I have a guess.
Okay.
I'll be bold.
Hold on. You got to write it. Did you write it down?
I've written it down.
Show us the board.
Is it Richard Jefferson?
Not quite. Not even. No. You're out. No points for
No.
Sean. The fifth clue. He coached the Mavericks to their first ever NBA Finals appearance. This should give it away. Mac, are you scribbling furiously or not? Okay. We're waiting for Mike. Show us the boards.
Can you even read them?
What is that?
He's got Rick Carlisle.
No, they made the finals in 2006, Mac.
Oh, I thought you said finals championship.
Carlisle didn't play for the Mavericks either.
No, you're right. I just heard NBA championship.
You know what? Carlisle played 48 games for the Mavs in 2003.
God, I just heard
but
NBA
didn't make
finals.
the postseason appearance, then coached them in 2000. All right.
So the correct answer is...
Here was the
Avery
other one
Johnson.
that I wrote.
Mike's got 5 points.
Boom.
All right, the fix is in. All right, player number two, a former Dallas Star in the 1990s, early 2000s. I don't know if that's going to give it away or not. There might have been a few of them that time. Okay, clue two. He currently owns the Sarnia Sting, a junior team in Ontario, Canada.
If either of you get it off of that, I give.
Yeah. All right, clue three. He wore number 2. Is Mike going to give it a go? Looks like Mike's going to give it a go. Or
No, give me one more. Give me one more.
I sound like an auctioneer. All right.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess.
All right, hold on. Are you okay? Both of you?
Yeah.
All right. We're waiting for Mac to hold up the board. Yeah, we got 2 of them. All right, they both got it right.
The captain.
Darian Hatcher is the correct answer. First American-born captain to win the Stanley Cup and played on the Dallas Stars with his brother Kevin. All right, so all 3
Jonah,
guys
my
got
other
it.
guess was
5-5-5.
Rick Carlisle on that.
You really should have written.
Rick was a hell of a blue liner.
He really was.
All right, everyone's got 5 points. We're heading to the third and final player. Clue 1. He was the first NBA player to go a perfect 7 for 7 on 3-pointers in a half. And no, it's not Rick Carlisle. Okay. Clue 2. He was 5'11" in the 6th grade. All right, clue. Are you going to give it a go?
No, give one more.
All right. He was the 3rd overall pick in the '98 draft, the same draft Dirk was selected number 9.
Remember, on the Mavs roster in 03.
Yeah, I think I'm jumping in here.
Okay. Sean Mack? No. What do we got? Sean Bradley. That is incorrect. Sean Bradley was not a proficient three-point shooter, if memory serves.
Oh, God.
Forgot that clue.
Yep,
All right.
Forgot that clue. The 5'11"
I'm
threw me.
off the hook.
Clue 4. He was born in Iowa, but by his name, you may have thought he was born in France.
Oh, I know who this
Got
is
it.
now.
Yep.
Write it down.
LaFrance. Yeah, Grateful Friends. Yeah.
Bang. Look at that. Sean and Mac taking it. Okay. We got to get a tiebreaker in, though, right? Because these guys are tied at 10 points. Tiebreaker is how many wins did Avery Johnson have as a head coach of the Mavericks?
Regular season and postseason together?
Yes.
So who's going to, is this like
Is this higher or lower?
the Price is Right? Can I just guess a dollar and win?
Yeah, just $1, Bob. Just throw out a number and I'll see what's closer. Can't be that hard to do math. We are
It's like looking at the jar of candy and
Not
guessing a
easy.
number.
Sean is closer. Sean was within 50, actually, it looks like.
Wow.
We're almost there.
Who knew?
194.
I was throwing in preseason wins.
Yeah, yes, of course. 194 was the correct answer number of Avery Johnson wins as head coach of the Mavericks. All right. That's the gaming segment. That's Mike. We don't even need supers anymore. He's just got his own dry erase board. All right, we're going to take another timeout. We'll wrap things up after this.
Back on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. No time for a final take, but just this. Moms are awesome. A final happy Mother's Day to round out this Sunday to all the moms out there, including my wife, my mom, grandmothers. You are all heroes. Thank you to all the moms out there.
Oh my gosh! And you don't really truly understand it until you're with your wife and see her become a mother as well, and truly understand.
Two new fathers here that understand it on a different level now.
The power of motherhood is incredible to watch. Big happy Mother's Day to my mom and my wife as well.
Thanks to all of you for watching. We'll see you next week on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show.
This has been the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Together, let's drive.